with dozens of presidents, prime ministers and ministers from like-minded countries having visited Israel since the terrorist attacks of October 7, it is disgraceful that not one Albanese government minister has done so. He's not wrong, but again, this seems to be the catalyst for now the foreign minister being like, oh, actually, yeah, me as well.
I mean,
I'm going.
And that would have been the easiest thing to, because obviously when it all broke out, there was a suggestion that Albanese himself ought to go. And at the time, I said, I don't know that Albanese ought to go because, you know, what is it going to achieve to send the Prime Minister, who's got other things to worry about here, over to Israel to do a showboat tour and say, well, here I am, I'm Albo, I've got nothing
Albo's
for
been
you.
everywhere else,
True.
And also, you can say that of any other minister right now. The government's on fire. They should all,
at least the foreign minister, it's within her wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Why could they not have, at the time, to diffuse the heat of that discussion, just gone, well, the Prime Minister's not going to go because the Prime Minister's in the US anyway, so he's got other places to be. We'll send the Foreign Minister. Like, it would have been easy to go, line on a page, off she goes, done.
Well, I think the reason is pretty obvious, isn't it? It's because Labor are trying to walk this fine line between we're supporting our ally who's just suffered the worst, most catastrophic loss of life since the Holocaust, but at the same time, you know, we're pro the Palestinians, and so they're trying to walk this line, which is why Wong has announced that not only will she visit Israel, but she'll also visit the West Bank. And she'll also visit other Arab nations that are involved.
Authority.
Yeah, Freudian slip there.
I knew they were over there too. I knew it.
Either that was a mistake on my part, or I'm very, very clever.
Freudian slip.
She's visiting other Arab nations, so even her visit is planned in such a way that they're trying to sort of keep everybody happy with this visit, rather than simply express solidarity with our ally, Israel.
Which is ridiculous, and again, just speaks to certainly what I've always said about this Prime Minister, and particularly about the Foreign Minister. I don't think they're walking a fine line at all. They are saying the bare minimum that you must when an atrocity like October 7th happens. But we know that throughout their political careers, they have been staunchly pro-Palestinian, and a massacre in Israel doesn't change that, and they've proved that through their pathetic support. Until this visit that apparently Wong's going on all of a sudden, there has been nothing but a few tweets, one visit to a synagogue that I'm aware of for a photo op by the PM. It has been completely piss weak, basically non-existent. And I think the only reason Wong is going is because Birmingham has just absolutely shown her up. And that's what this opposition is doing brilliantly. And if this government just continues being half this pathetic, the Libs really should rake it in at the next election, because they've been governing for almost half this term already.
Yeah, the optics are terrible for the government. I mean, the opposition have led the charge addressing anti-Semitism and addressing some of the things we've seen around the place in a strong fashion. Dutton's been great on that. The opposition literally told the government what to do about detention laws and led them by the nose in that. And now, as you say, another example of the opposition effectively governing the nation, or at least setting the tone.
I think Albanese gets cold sweats at night. He's like, do I stay consistent with my actual principles, or do I do what I know is actually the right thing to do for my country? You've got to feel so sorry for the poor bloke between flying around and having to deal with these difficult issues like...
But if his principles, his actual principles, and what's best for the country are in conflict at any point, you're in the wrong job. You're supposed to be our Prime Minister, for crying out loud. If your convictions, if your passions, if any of your principles aren't in line with what is best for the nation, get out.